Welcome to ZOE International's Hope in Action Livestream. For those hearing about ZOE for the first time, if you're joining us today, our mission is to reach every person with God's love and rescue every child from human trafficking. And we accomplish this mission with operations in Thailand, Mexico, Japan, Australia, the West Coast in Los Angeles County, and the East Coast in Pennsylvania. We're committed to ending child trafficking in our lifetime through prevention by educating the public and providing tools to protect themselves, through rescue by joining law enforcement on operations to help identify and recover victims, and through restoration by connecting survivors with support and resources that they need for their future. Today, we're going to be talking about ZOE's Rescue Walk, which is coming up on Saturday, April 26th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Shepherd Church in Porter Ranch. We have some amazing guests today joining us, including our top business fundraiser, one of our top church fundraisers, and a special community organization called the Ladies of Porter Ranch, who'll be joining our walk. And we'll also have a special guest at the end of our time today, one of our youth survivors who is now stable and safe and just really thriving toward her goals. So first, we have Chris from business fundraiser Conoco joining us. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. I know you're traveling right now.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about Conoco?
Yeah, Conoco is based in Southern California. We are a retailer and a wholesaler of petroleum products, including we own and operate gas station, as well as we transport fuel to all over Southern California to different gas stations, not just our own, but also um, local construction companies and farmers, agriculture companies who need fuel in their site to operate their equipment. So, in a nutshell, that's Conoco is a petroleum company.
Awesome. And how I know Conoco has been a great supporter of ZOE over the years. How did Conoco first get connected to ZOE International?
Yeah, Conoco got connected to Zoe International through its owners, Peter and Kathy Hong. And so when few of our employees found out about their involvement, some of us just kind of naturally asked the question of how can, what does Zoe do? How can we help? Is there anything that we could help in that? And so that's how our involvement started, just
Amazing.
just organically, naturally. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And right now, Conoco is our top business fundraiser. And why has Conoco decided to get involved, particularly with our rescue walk?
I think one thing, I think COVID really helped. And let me explain why.
Okay.
When Zoe, we couldn't do the Zoe walk, right?
Yeah.
So we had a different groups, different thing. And so what we decided to do, as we could use Zoe walk not just to bring awareness, raise funds, but also let's utilize that as a team building activity for some of us who wants to get involved. And so that brought more awareness to every employee, everyone involved with Conoco. Obviously, it wasn't mandatory. No one was, it was something that they didn't have to do. But if for those of us who's always looking to help, and we found out throughout, as we made announcements and so forth, there's a lot of people who wants to help out and organizations like this and feel good about them. And so I think one of the silver lining of the COVID era and having Zoe walk on a separate basis, it helped us grow teamwork through more than just operating our business, but also get involved with the cause that we all believe in.
That's amazing. And I love that creative way that you're turning it into a team building activity while doing such good.
Yeah.
What is Conoco's goal for the walk in terms of, is it a fundraising goal or is it a certain number of people that you want to register for the walk?
I think for us, for our goal, is just to bring more awareness. Of course, raise money too, of course. And uh, Peter and Kathy are so very generous and matching all of our donations. Um, but I think beyond that, also, I think it just bring more awareness to. We brought awareness to many of the employees who work for Conoco. We want to go in a little bit deeper and have their bring awareness to their families and their friends, and so that more um, so that everyone can be aware.
Yeah. What would be your message for other businesses who may be watching this live stream and may watch it later, if they're watching this and thinking about how their business might be able to get involved? Any message or tips for them?
I, um, I could think of two. I
Okay.
think number one, it just starts with one person. Just
Mm.
as for our company, it started with Peter and Kathy. Just with one person being the example, just living out their faith and living out what they believe in. Um, and it doesn't have to be the owner of the company or the president of the company. It could be anybody. Um, so that's number one. Number two is that for businesses, when employees realize that there are it's leadership cares more about the bottom dollar of just doing business, but they have fundamental a good faith and good heart to help those who are in need. I think everyone just kind of gravitates towards that,
Mm.
and have greater um, pride in the company that they work for. And so not only does it does a good thing for helping people who are in need, but internally also brings joy and pride and confidence and internally. And so I think that's it's to me it's a win-win for everyone involved.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining today. And we are so excited to see your team on April 26th. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you. Thank you.
So if you are a business or an individual or an organization that is interested in joining the ZOE Rescue Walk, you can visit zoerescuewalk.org, and there you can find instructions to register as an individual or as an organization. And we're really just about a month and a half away, and so you can get registered. We want everyone to register as soon as possible so that we could see how many will be joining us on that day. And you can go ahead and start promoting it, sharing it on your social media, sharing with friends, asking them to donate to your page. You'll be given a specific link so that you can share with your friends and family, asking them to join your team or donate to your team. And if you can't make the walk on that day, you can always donate to the cause. Our goal is to raise $100,000 in our efforts in the United States for our prevention, rescue, and restoration efforts. And next, we have one of our top church fundraisers joining us today. It's Terrence from Christ Church in Santa Clarita Valley. Hi, Terrence.
Hello, Esther. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I just love that you guys are one of our top church fundraisers and you are a new church partner. I think we met last year and you guys had reached out to us. So would just love to for you to be able to share with everybody how you guys first connected with ZOE International.
So it was about this time, I think about a year ago, my wife, daughter, and I did what do you call it? A visit at Purpose LA Church. And we got to meet Daryl and Tracy and learned about their after hours ministry and their coordination with Zoe. And previous to that, for myself and my family, we didn't have any knowledge or interaction with human trafficking. It was distant to us. We didn't realize this was happening in LA. So when we had this exposure at Purpose LA with Daryl and Tracy, I began asking the question, not just internally, but out loud to my pastors of, is this something we are aware of? And are we interested in and open to getting involved? So I had various conversations with the pastors, the elders, the deacons, and they said, absolutely, we're not aware of this, and we are completely excited and would be willing to get involved. So then they let me give a presentation before the congregation, and give them why I thought this was meaningful and important for us to become more exposed to this. And that's what led our conversations and interactions together at your headquarters to determine, how do we get involved? We don't really know, but that was the initial introduction.
And you guys were so generous with your time, just sitting with us that day, letting us tell you all about the problem of trafficking, as well as just, all the things that we do. And you guys really jumped in and got right involved, asking for a list of ways that your church and your people can get involved. And one of the really beautiful ways I think that you guys have stepped in, it actually makes me a little emotional when I think about it. We, gave you a bunch of options, and whenever we've shot an option for one of our girls who live in our home, who was going to go to her first dance at school because she's been stable enough to be able to even go to school activities. Prior to that, she's a girl who had been missing for months at a time, found in drug trap houses at times. But you guys really stepped in and offered your church to be able to help her buy a dress for the dance, and then later on, even a jacket. And then when we've had new youth come to our home, you guys have taken her shopping with our staff to get clothes and toiletries and different items that the girls may not have, because it takes time when they move from home to home to get their belongings. And if you could just share a little bit about how has that opportunity been for your church and your people, just to be able to participate in that way?
It's been amazing, and I'm so thankful that the church community stepped up. It's small. It's maybe 200 people that attend on Sunday, but it is a deep, rich community. So it's not so much of an evangelical outreach church, it's more of a discipling church. And so everyone there, because of that extreme community involvement, really was ready. And so when I presented these ideas to them, it was multiple women that raised their hand and said, I'd go, I'd go, I'd go. And so I said, okay, let's take turns and get a few people started with this. So I was really relieved that the church leadership was willing to give me the microphone and explain this to the congregation, and also thankful that the congregation wasn't coerced. They really did want to help. And they've been asking ever since, what can we do more? What can we do more? And so I'm sure this will segue to other questions about the ZOE Rescue Walk. But
Yeah.
when that came up, to me, it was like, can I get the microphone again and explain this? Because I got the postcard in the mail, and they said, of course, immediately yes to that. And so this is a great segue transition for Christ Church Santa Clarita to get involved more as a group rather than the one-off women here and there taking shots, which is wonderful. And I'm
Yes.
thankful they're doing that. I really wanted the church at large to have exposure to see, how do we do outreach? What does it mean to be evangelical? What does it mean to go out and network with other churches and other believers or people that want to be doing this? So that was the connection.
And I love that. And we gave you a short window of time, told you guys about the walk, and boom, we see you, right up there, have mobilized so many people and even funds toward this effort. You guys are doing something great over there. Is there any tips that you could offer in terms of how are you getting your people to respond so quickly and so, even the hands-on way of these women just even stepping in and willing to, come and take our kids shopping and signing up and fundraising for the walk? What are you guys doing over there?
So I'll give you two answers, and I mean these sincerely. One is a spiritual answer and one is a practical. I mean this when I say the Holy Spirit put this on my heart. That day when I was at meeting Daryl and Tracy at Purpose, we got in the car, I turned to my, at the time, 17, now 18-year-old daughter and said, what did you think about today's conversation? And it was this instant burning sensation, I really mean it, of, we have to do something. And so I really believe that the Holy Spirit put it in my heart to go take action on something I knew nothing about. My nature is more of a persuader, where it's I want to rally the troops, and I'm not scared to go talk about it in front of people and one-on-one and send emails to people individually. And so that's what I've done. Is we emailed the whole church from the pastor. I wrote the script, pastor sent it. So that's one way. And then my wife and I took our network separate from the church, so family and friends, emailed them separately, calling on them to pray for if this is something they would feel mobilized for. And two, would they want to get involved in the walk? And three, if or if not, would you at least be willing to donate financially? So I haven't been shy to ask for people to pray, to go on the walk, and to actually give money. It's just not something I'm fearful of. So that action has created the volume that we're seeing. And I don't think we're done. I think we have plenty of runway to go to raise more.
That is so exciting. And I love that even Pastor Andrew, he's so responsive and passionate and hands-on himself. And I think that has been really encouraging to see just as a church. And so just, you could definitely tell from the leadership down, the support is there.
Every time I've asked Pastor Andrew to have the microphone or send an email, he has said yes.
Amazing. And lastly, what would be, churches are watching, and after this live stream, it'll be available for people to watch. So churches may tune in, and there are a lot of churches that are wanting to get involved, wanting to help, hear the cause. What would be your message for them as they're, wanting to do something, anything that you could do to encourage them?
Sure. I would say 3 tactical things. So more than just putting it on the website and whoever sees it, sees it. I would do 3 things. I would do the from the stage, from the pulpit announcement, like I did. Number 1. I would then have a follow-up email from the pastor to the congregation. And then number 3, just one-on-one communication of having a small task force of maybe just a few people that can get behind this and get passionate about it, that can circulate verbally from the pulpit message, from the blast email from the pastors, to ask people, did you hear the message? Did you read the email? Would you be willing to get involved?
That is amazing. You guys are incredible, and we are so excited to see you guys on April 26th and just to watch your progress on the website. So thank you so much for joining and taking time to be here.
You are welcome. However we can help, let me know.
We'll see you there.
Okay. Bye, Esther.
Bye. So if you are a church that is interested in getting involved, there's still time. The walk is on April 26th. You can visit ZOERescueWalk.org. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to our teams. We're here to support you. We can give you any collateral that you need, videos. We have posters, postcards. The church that just was on this live stream, Christ Church, they came and took a stack of postcards that they could pass out. We'd be happy to deliver those, mail those to you. Whatever you need in any way that we can support, even if it was for us to come table at your church or come and share anything with your church, please feel free to reach out to us. And again, if you are interested in joining, go ahead and just start by registering. You can sign up and get any emails and information from the website, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. We'd love, if you are even interested, to go ahead and sign up, because we'd love to see who will be coming on that day. So if you need any support or resources, we are here for you. Next, we have an amazing group who will be joining our walk. And we have Morgan Hardman and the amazing ladies from the Ladies of Porter Ranch joining us today. And they are here to just share about how they heard about ZOE and what they're doing to get involved. Hi, Morgan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi, Gigi.
Hey, Gigi.
Hi, Esther. Hi, Morgan. Thank you so much for having us on.
thank you for joining. And I know some other ladies from your group will be joining on, but maybe we can just get started, especially Morgan, because you really were the touch point in connecting to ZOE. If you could share with us, how did you first hear about ZOE International?
So I heard from Zoe about Zoe International from Dr. Jason Plunkett. He's actually one of my mentors, and he's coached me through a lot of recovery. You know, I grew up in the foster care system, the group home system. And when he met me, he saw past the surface. He saw the pain that was on the inside. He broke down those walls, and he really helped me to get on the path to healing and just owning myself and finding my identity. So that's how I got in contact with Zoe. I was actually one of the first women that was invited to come out and look at the actual facility from a standpoint of growing up in those homes and seeing if, you know, are the colors right? Are the bed sheets okay? What about the therapy rooms? Like, I mean, I got to see the ins and outs of that entire facility, and I was just blown away. First, more importantly, of how much the care was there. Because growing up in the foster care system and group homes, the care wasn't really there for me. And so that's the first thing I saw was the love from the staff and just the heart to really serve. So that's how I got in contact with Zoe.
That's amazing. And you know, you came and visited before we opened, and we ended up getting our license in August 2021 and have now served over 30 different girls ages 12 to 17. And so we're super excited that we've reconnected. And for those who didn't know, Morgan mentioned Dr. Jason. He was our former clinical director, but has since moved out of state. But we're so glad for that connection. And what made you want to get involved with ZOE International, you know, especially with your lived experience and just wanting to reconnect?
So for me, my mom was a prostitute, and she was actually one of the main reasons the Hillside Stranglers started their murder spree. And so there was a lot of challenges for me through life when it came to being taken advantage of by men. And so for me, I really felt like my entire life, I wanted to help women and young girls especially. And I've taken on every single one that I can that has come in the path of my life. And I've helped them go on to be greater, graduate college. And I just really have a heart for women and just serving and really understanding that sometimes all it takes is that person really seeing you and believing in you and pushing you into the greater, you know, parts of your life that you don't see, and just them seeing it just really helps people get on the course to really changing their lives. And I had that. I had different people throughout my life that truly saw me and took a chance on me. And so I have to do the same for other young girls.
That's amazing. I love that you're in a healthy place and being able to give back to others. This organization, I mean, we're so grateful to be connected. If you can tell us more about the Ladies of Porter Ranch, who are you guys and what are you guys about and what are you guys doing?
Yes, I'd like Shishi and Andrea to go ahead and take that from here.
Yes,
Sure.
hi. I apologize. My camera is not working, but I don't know if Shishi, you want to go or do you want me to go?
Sure, I'll get started. So, Morgan, our very own girl, she actually leads the charity chapter of Ladies of Porter Ranch, and Andrea is our very own COO. I'm CMO, and we are a community-based female empowerment group with over 500 members here in the local Porter Ranch community, and we're always exploring for different ways to not only empower local businesses nearby, but to really be there for our sisters, to really be there for the women in our community. And, you know, upon finding out about Morgan's story, hearing about Zoe's mission, it was just, we just knew that this was something that we had to really get behind and really tap into our community and leverage all of the connections, all of the women in our community to not only empower each other, but to really help out the women that need visibility, the women that need a voice. And we're so beyond proud to be supporting your cause.
That is so amazing. I was just looking at your website and all the beautiful, amazing things that you guys do. And that's exactly in alignment with what we're doing. We're empowering the children and families that we're serving so that they can be sustainable on their own. And most importantly, just that they know that they're not alone, that they have not just ZOE, but an entire community of everybody who supports ZOE behind them. And so that's just the important message that we want to get across. And so we're so excited in the short amount of time that we reconnected, Morgan, that you guys have rallied the troops and are going to get involved with our ZOE Rescue Walk on April 26th.
Yes.
What is your hope in terms of, Ladies of Porter Ranch getting involved? And what do you hope to accomplish through connecting with the ZOE Rescue Walk? Do you have any particular goals in terms of what you want to do with that?
We definitely want to spread awareness. There's so many women in our community that are a part of our members, and we want to really spread awareness and really start that sisterhood mentorship, like what's life like for them after, and that for us is really important. I'll let Shishi and Andrea jump in, but that's, as a group, we've collectively talked about how we really want to uplift women and young girls and just really let them know that we see you. I'll let Shishi and Andrea go ahead and jump in on what there are the other parts of our mission.
We already, so what's actually kind of funny is when we found out that the walk is going to be taking place here in Porter Ranch, we were so excited because Andrea has actually been helping us lead the initiative of doing our Saturday walks, right, Andrea?
Yeah, so one of the things that it is kind of like a signature for us, and how kind of like our group started our walks.
Wow.
Yes, so the community of Porter Ranch is a very, very united a social group, and I'm going to say social group because we started meeting each other. Porter Ranch is fairly new. There is old Porter Ranch and there's new Porter Ranch. So the new Porter Ranch is fairly new because they're all new constructions. And basically, how we started meeting each other is because all of us were going through the same process of building our homes. So we started connecting with each other. Then our purpose was to make sure Porter Ranch was a very united community. So that was one of our main purposes as the ladies of Porter Ranch. We united the new Porter Ranch with the old Porter Ranch, and we built this social club group of women with now so many members. And one of our biggest way of doing that at the beginning was to organize our walks every Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
What?
And so so you see this huge group of women like walking down the street, and people will be like, "What is that?"
Wow.
And it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just became like the Ladies of Porter Ranch walk. So it was just a signature thing for us to do. And people, and then we made it bigger to include some of the Chatsworth community, some of the Northridge community. So when Morgan talked about the walk, one of the most important things for our social group is to do charity. That was just one of the main purposes why we created a social group in the first place, was to be able to give back to the community. And then when she talked about a walk, and we were like, well, there's nothing better, for us to do than like participate on the walk, because we already do our walks with a bunch of women. Like, why not attach one of the most important purposes, which is, ZOE and helping you guys and being part of this, from our hearts. So yeah.
That is so amazing. It was meant to be, because our walk is 9 a.m. on April 26th in Porter Ranch. So you guys had already set that up. If you ladies could tell us more about how, if there are women listening right now and they want to get involved and they're from the area, how can they connect with your organization, and what's the criteria for joining?
Shishi?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we're keeping it to Puerto Ranch. So criteria is you must live in Puerto Ranch or, within a 5-mile radius of where we are. And then just, as long as you have an open heart, as long as you are willing to really embody what it means to empower women, you can be a part of us. And, we love exchanging ideas. We love supporting each other, showing up for our local businesses, charities. So make sure to follow us on Instagram, Puerto Ranch Ladies, PuertoRanchLadies.com, and that's how you can find us.
And we're so excited because, this year we want to get more involved, and we are just excited about being able to connect some of our young ladies that might need some mentorship, or just even seeing successful businesswomen, empowered women. So we're excited about that. In addition to the walking you guys do on Saturdays, what are some of the other activities or events that you all have done?
We have done several events. Our company is a registered corporation, and it is a social club. So as a community, we put together several events as far as like seminars. We've done also women get-togethers. We've done
Bible
what is it?
studies. I'll throw that
Yes,
in there.
Bible studies, that is for sure. Empowerment seminars, empowerment lunches and dinners, holiday events, lunches with a connection within businesses with our local church. And then we also partner up with almost every single business here in Porter Ranch to make sure we support them and we highlight what they do to be able to raise their services to our community. So we're a full-on social club. It's been very successful so far, but yes, we are Porter Ranch directed.
Sounds
And
amazing. Yeah, go
Esther, no pun intended, but we don't just talk the talk, we also walk the walk.
ahead. That's awesome. It sounds like an amazing organization and something that anyone in that community would want to be a part of. And then lastly, we have other community agencies that might be watching, or other groups. What would be your message for them if they're watching this and thinking about, we'd love to get involved in some way? Any message or encouragements you have for them in terms of why they should get involved, or what they can do to encourage their communities?
Shishi?
That's such a great question, Esther. I think my word of encouragement would be uh, when you do something that helps other women be seen and be heard, you are essentially finding inspiration for yourself too, because it's not only so rewarding to be able to support causes such as yours, to actually come out, donate time, donate action to help bring visibility to all these women in need. But when we do our part in helping others, I think we learn more about ourselves too, and that's the most empowering part of all.
I love that.
Yeah, also, I feel like there is definitely still a gap
Mm,
on raising awareness on you guys' purpose.
mm,
This is just, it is such an important subject. And it's been going on for years and years and years. And it was disregarded for a very long time. And people turned their heads away on this purpose for a very long time. And thank God for individuals and organizations like you and like others that invest your time and your lives into this mission and saving human beings, saving these women. There's really, but to me, there's really nothing more important than saving a life. And so we really have to, people, please get involved. We need to raise awareness on this subject because there is nothing more important in the world than saving a life. So thank God for you guys.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us during this lunch hour and taking time, not only today, but all that you all are doing for the community, and also, for this walk. We're so excited to see your beautiful group there on April 26th. Any final words before we wrap up today?
I just want to thank you, Esther, for, partnering with us and allowing us to really show what matters. Because for me, someone took a chance on me, and that's why I'm where I am today, because someone saw me when I didn't see myself. And so for those of you out there that are listening, sometimes all it takes is for you just to tell someone, hey, I see you, girl, and you got this. And that can change the course of someone's entire life. I'm one who's a living proof of that. I'm supposed to be a statistic, and I'm not. So thank you again for all that you guys are doing for these women. Like we honor you guys, seriously.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to see you all there on April 26th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just to give you more information about how to register for the walk, you can watch this video and get more specifics and details of how to register and how to promote it.
So, you've heard about the ZOE Rescue Walk and want to sign up. Here's how. First, go to ZOERescueWalk.com. From here, scroll down till you see the button to register for the SoCal Walk on April 26th. Clicking that will take you to the registration page. Once there, you can find the register button, which will give you 3 options: sign up as an individual, join a team, or create a team. Select whichever option is best for you and follow the prompts. Once you've signed up, you'll be taken to your team or individual donation page. You can now share the link to this page with others so they can either give to you or join your team. Thank you so much for being a part of this life-changing movement. See you April 26th.
Now we have Anastasia, Zoe's event coordinator, joining us to be able to answer some questions about the walk. Hi, Anastasia.
Hi, Esther.
Thanks for all you're doing to promote this walk, and we're on track to make it a great event on April 26th. What can people expect when they come to the walk?
Yes. So what people can expect, I would say first and foremost, you can definitely expect to be in community with passionate people who truly care about this cause. I mean, if we're listening to all these speakers today, they're so inspiring. And so you can expect to be around like-minded people. And then as for event logistics, we'll have check-in at 9 a.m. And that's where you're going to get a free bag of goodies with some stickers, a t-shirt, all of that fun stuff. And then we will also have a special opening ceremony. And that's going to start at 10 a.m. And we're going to get to hear from the founders of ZOE, Mike and Carol Hart, and important leaders from the community like Lieutenant Robin Richards from ICAC, John Lee, and Tom Lackey. They're going to be the ones that talk about this cause and why it is so important and how we can all make a difference.
That's
then
great.
We're going to start walking. So you can choose between 2 routes. We're going to have a 1.3 mile scenic walk through Limkin Canyon Park, which is just across the street from Shepherd. And then we also have a shorter 0.9 mile route off of Rinaldi Street, which will be perfect for wheelchairs and strollers. And then after the walk, you can grab yummy food from Chick-fil-A and visit the ZOE booth to learn more about how to stay involved. And then there will also be a kids craft station and a photo area, so you can take pictures with your team. And this is just a great time to meet other people who care about this cause and be inspired. It's going to be a really powerful event. And so, again, we would love to see you all there. We'd love to have you all registered.
That's amazing. And can you explain what can people do right now until the date of the walk? So they're not just, waiting around until the date of April 26th, but what do you want people to be doing right now?
Absolutely. Well, I think it has been emphasized, but right now the most important thing is just raising awareness and telling people about the event. And so that's inviting friends, family, coworkers, your church. It can get so broad. And so anyone who you think might want to join or might want to know about this cause and this event, it's really just raising awareness and letting them know. And then that's also kind of in with you can start fundraising. So once you get registered, as Esther mentioned, you have a page. You can have a team page or an individual page, and you can share that link with whoever you think would want to learn more or want to donate. And so I just really want to emphasize too that every contribution, no matter the size, is making a huge difference. So those are ways you can start to, get involved and do things until the day of the walk. And then when we'll see you at the walk day and get to all celebrate together all of the impact and just the passion.
And how many people are registered now?
Yeah, so right now we have 211 people registered and signed up. And, it's amazing because it's only going to keep growing before the day of the event.
That's awesome. And do we have a specific goal in terms of how many people we would love to see registered?
Yeah, our goal is 1,000 people that are there and registered. And then our goal also for money is to raise 100,000.
Okay, great. And then can you talk a little bit about satellite walks? I know we're almost pretty much at that cutoff of starting up any new ones, but what is a satellite walk? And if somebody is listening and wanted to get on that right away, what could they do to start a satellite walk?
Yes. So the satellite walk is any opportunity of, oh, I'm not in Southern California, but I really want to get involved and I really would like to have a walk. And ideally people could have it on the 26th. So then it feels like, we're all doing this on the same day together. But if you can't have it on that day, we totally understand, and that's not a hindrance. But we'll provide you with a toolkit and a whole bunch of examples and ways in which you can kind of create that in your area. We also think that partnering with the church, this is a really great opportunity. And so getting your church involved if you do want to host a walk. And with the satellite walks, once you are interested, you can fill out the form on the ZOERescueWalk.com. So if you scroll down, it will say not local to Southern California, and then you can click that and it will just get you to fill out that interest form, and one of our staff will contact you and get you all the information, anything that you need so that you can successfully have your own walk.
That's great. And any final message you have for those who are watching today?
I'm just really excited. I'm really inspired, and I'm just amazed by just what a group of people can do when we really all unite and come together. So I'm so looking forward to just being able to be there and experience the power that comes from a movement of people coming together and uniting under such a worthy cause. So I'm really excited, and I hope to see you all there. So register if you have not already.
Thanks, Anastasia, for joining.
Thank you.
So you heard Anastasia. Please go ahead and get registered. Visit ZOERescueWalk.org. We'd love to get those numbers up. We're in the 200s. We want to get up there to 1,000. We know we still have time, but if you're thinking about it, visit the site, check it out, and we'd love to get as many people registered as possible. And now we have a youth that Zoe used to serve several years ago, who is a survivor of trafficking herself, who has bravely been sharing her story, and it will be joining us now to be able to talk with us. Star, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. There
Can
you
you hear
are.
me now?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, Star. Okay. We have known you since you were 16. If you could just share with us, how old are you now and what are you doing now these days?
So I'm 19 right now, and I'm currently working on my GED. And I would like to start working soon and have work experience.
People don't realize that children are being trafficked in our own neighborhoods and communities here in America today. They a lot of times think it's something that's happening in a foreign country, but we know that it's happening every day here in the States. What are some examples that you know of where children are being trafficked or commercially sexually exploited here in the States now?
Okay, hold on. I wrote a few things down. Give me 1 second. So I put through social media and family parties and school activities, such as after school activities, such as parties, putting them on the street to work for money.
And I mean, those are the situations that we have been serving children and families, exactly what you're saying, how a lot of them were recruited online. And then in your situation, it really was due to the help of somebody that helped you to get rescued out of your abusive situation. Can you share how you were able to escape that?
So I escaped because I was in a hotel room and I was left alone from my abuser. He had left me there by myself. And this guy, he had come up to me and asked me if I was okay, and I told him no. And I basically told him everything that was going on, and he like helped me get out of the situation. And within that time being, like the my abuser came back and he like was trying to get me back, and he had poured a bottle on my clothes from across the hallway because we were across the hallway from each other at the time in the hotel. And the guy who helps me, he washes my clothes and he later leaves me alone by myself. And the cops show up because he later tries to kill me, my abuser, and
Mhm.
they show up and arrest him, and he later goes to jail and commits suicide.
It's so traumatic what, you have been through, but it is, encouraging to hear that there was somebody even in that kind of danger who was willing to step in and help you and even just ask if you were okay, that they saw there's this child who is in need of help. And so I'm so glad that somebody was there, that you were able to get out of that situation, and so sorry for all that you have experienced. People often ask, why doesn't the victim just leave or tell somebody if they're not tied down or locked up? Can you explain why it's so hard for a victim to just leave their trafficking situation?
So, in my experience as a person who went through experiences, I just feel like it's like being in a prison in your own mind because you fear
Mhm.
for your life and what the person can do to everyone around you. Because, say, you have family or siblings, or, in general, like he can threaten those people or know your address of where you lived, and he can just make you feel like, or the abuser can make you feel like you have no choice in to what you're doing.
And, a survivor often goes back to the trafficker many times before they feel safe to finally leave, and they need help and support to do that. And being rescued or leaving the abuse, it's just the beginning. And having the resources to be able to overcome abuse, having goals, trying to achieve goals is so hard and it takes a long time. What kind of help do you think a survivor needs to support them in their journey to reach their goals, and what has helped you?
Honestly, I feel like the approach, because we're so used to people coming at us or judging us for what we are and how we lived our lives and what we've done to, come as far as today. I feel like the lack of sensibility and judgment is where people tend to fall. And I feel like the approach would be like more loving and caring, because we never had the love or care for people to show
Mhm.
us that, there's good people out there in this world, and that there's people who do really care about us.
And what were some of the ways, that Zoe was able to help you in the time that we were serving you?
So when I was in Zoe, I went to their drug treatment and I attended the group home that they had, and they helped me realize the person who I wanted to become and who I wanted to stay
Mm.
away from. And at the time, I didn't believe in God, and I never knew that he could be real until I met Zoe and the family at Zoe. And it opened my eyes to a lot of very different things, and the things that they would tell me to encourage me to be better, it still moves me till this day. I replay what they say, and it just helps a lot.
And Star, what are you most, proud of today?
That I have my own place, and that I will be graduating my GED this year, and I'm gonna start working soon, and I have my own cat, and I've traveled.
And what are some goals that you're working towards for your future?
So once I'm done with my GED, I want to start college to either become a defense attorney or a
That's
therapist.
amazing.
So because I want to give back to the world, and be the voice that I wish I had.
I love that, Star, that in the midst of everything that you've gone through, you're always reaching back out to us, asking how you can help other youth, always being willing to even talk with girls that are struggling just like you were back in the day. And we just appreciate you just always making yourself available. Yesterday, we were able to speak to hundreds of high school students in a local school to share your story and teach them about trafficking and how to keep themselves safe. So we look forward to seeing you at our walk on April 26th. You'll be there on the stage to share a little bit with everybody who's there. And we just celebrate you and all that you've accomplished and all that you're doing. And we're going to keep following your story and just seeing great things and what's going on with you. So thank you for joining today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So thank you all for joining today. You spent your lunch hour with us, and we appreciate your support for our mission to reach every person and rescue every child. To learn more about ZOE's Rescue Walk, you can visit zoerescuewalk.org. We hope to see you all there Saturday, April 26th, 9 to 12 at Shepherd Church in Porter Ranch. And in addition, what we've mentioned before, in 2025, our goal is to mobilize 10,000 people in this fight to help end child trafficking. We want to raise $2 million to sustain all of our programs throughout the world. And so that campaign is called 10 to End. You can visit endchildtrafficking.org to see how you can contribute just $10 a month. That's what we're hoping for. We would like to sign up 10,000 people to give $10 a month towards that goal of raising $2 million for the year to sustain our programs. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you at the walk. Many people ask what they can do, and a lot of times they don't know and how to get involved, and this is an easy way just to be able to join us and register for that walk. If you're not in Southern California, you can donate to the cause and help us reach our goal of raising $100,000 to support our programs in the United States. Thank you so much for joining us.